Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Leagues Breakdown. This isn't going to be a video that's just one relic stretching out 30 seconds over 5 minutes. We're actually going to talk about 6 different relics today and some tips behind them. These are all the hints that they're releasing daily for Leagues coming up in just over a week. So obviously we need to go in order. What was the very first tip? The UI. It looks amazing. The nice colors used for it. You can even resize the UI to make it even more convenient for whatever playstyle that you have. The first tip wasn't necessarily a tip, it was just a teaser, but the next one is our first relic reveal. That's the Trickster. You're automatically going to be able to re-pickpocket your target. So it's essentially like having pickpocket targets that are like woodcutting trees. Set it up and walk away. Loot from your pickpocketing is doubled and noted, so that's actually really cool if you go anywhere else that's not just coin pouches. Along with the fact that coin pouch limit is multiplied by 3. This isn't necessarily as AFK as some people might be making it out to be, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to click a guard, walk away for at least a minute, and then clear your coin pouch. Who needs the graceful set when you've got the Sage's Greaves? That will grant agility experience that scales with your agility level while you're running. It's passive agility experience, and I think everyone's gonna love that one. Box traps lure creatures faster. Loot from box traps is doubled, and your impling jars cannot break. Hunter is a breeze. Not to mention, you can't fail actions for thieving, agility, hunter, or fire making, which you can actually burn 9 logs at the exact same time. I'm not sure that's going to be too helpful, but everything else a part of the Trickster is awesome. The next of the League's tips is just a general overview of what everyone is wondering. What are the experience rates going to be like? Minigame points and other things that need to be amplified for our gameplay to be expedited. So minigame points will be times 1, 3, 5, and 8. So it might not be worth it to train out Mage Training Arena until you get to the times 5 or times 8 tier. You're also going to be receiving 5 times the amount of Slayer points. And instead of superiors being 1 in 200, they're now 1 in 50. And believe it or not, clue scrolls are going to drop as stackable boxes. It should work that way in the real game anyway, but I'm not going to get into that right now. And the drop rate throughout the tiers of play are going to go from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 times drop rate for everything across the world of RuneScape. And everybody said it's going to be hard to get a T-bow. I think not. These next relics that were revealed were the combat relics, the ones that you're going to have to pick from the very beginning of the game. They have alluded to secondary relics that buff another style of combat, but we haven't gotten that confirmed just yet. So as far as it goes right now, assume you're going to be a freight train in one of your combat styles, and I'm actually even going to start off with what I think is going to be the best one, the Superior Sorcerer. Magic weapons with attack speed 4 or above have this stat halved and rounded down, and magic weapons with attack speed 3 or below have this stat halved and rounded up. So pretty much all of our magic equipment is going to be 2 or 3 tick, and that's nuts for the Shadow. You're going to save 90% of the runes you use when casting spells, and this includes any of the powered staves like Trident in the Seas all the way up to the Shadow. Your bind spells are always going to hit, so this is going to add so much strategy to your specific amount of gameplay, more than just, I hit good with bow, haha. The fact that you're going to get the Arcane Grimoire is nuts. You're going to be able to switch back and forth between the spell books at a bank. So it's not as overpowered as you might think, but if you had last recall, it's almost like a hot swap. The fact that you're just gonna get given a rune pouch is also amazing, and that rune pouch is a divine pouch, +1. So you're able to hold 5 runes right off the bat, and then when you get that thread 6, you can almost never have to bank your runes because you have all the utility at the tip of your fingers. Magic attacks will deal an additional 25% as splash damage to surrounding targets, up to 5 additional targets, which now means you don't have to do burst tasks because you're always doing burst tasks. But unfortunately it only works in multi-combat areas. With a 20% increase to magic damage, and your accuracy is increased by 175%. I really do think, for those who are going to use their heads and be creative with it, magic is the way to go. But we do have to talk about the other two. There's the Brawler's Resolve. Melee weapons with attack speed 4 or above have this stat halved, rounded down. Melee weapons with attack speed 3 or below have this stat halved, rounded up. Just like the magic relic, that's really great, and I think it's probably going to do it for the ranged too. But in a sped up game mode, that's what you should expect. You are immune to all status effects, including but not limited to poison, venom, fire breath, with the exception of stuns and roots. And this applies to both PvE and PvP. I actually really like this because in a PvP setting, the mage would be nuts. But the fact that Brawler's Resolve makes you a direct counter for it is actually really well thought out. And something I wish that we had in the game was critical hits. You now have a 10% chance to deal a critical hit on a successful melee hit, dealing double damage. I can only imagine somebody maxing out the spec on a BGS. But your melee accuracy is increased by 50%, and the melee range and magic defense is increased by 50%. So you are truly a walking tank. I do really like this one as far as being a direct counter for the mage, and critical hits are amazing. But there's not a lot to think about with this one. It's point and click, just like RuneScape's tried and true combat system. And looking at the Archer's Embrace, of course it's going to have sped up weapons for its 4 or 3 tick speeds, but 90% of ammunition is saved when using ranged weapons. This effect stacks with Ava's devices, resulting in 98% ammo savings. This also includes crystal bows, chinchompas, and the toxic blowpipe charges. You really will be able to supply your blowpipe with a couple of sacred eels during an AFK session. Your enchanted bolts have double the chance to proc. Having 2 ruby bolt specs go off at the same time would be nuts. Now I tell you, that's how you delete a boss's health bar. You also have a 10% chance that your weapons will fire an extra projectile. Your bows, crossbows, ballistas, and most thrown weapons. So you're straight up Legolas out here with 2 arrows in the middle of your bow, and your accuracy is increased by 100%. Not as good as the magic accuracy, and the doubled proc is kind of situational. There's nothing like the Brawler's Resolve that gives you that critical hit. So unfortunately, Archer's Embrace might just be the weakest of the 3. But ranged weapons are already pretty goddamn strong in RuneScape, so I don't think you're going to be sad if you pick this one either. The next of our relics that were revealed is the Undying Retribution. Should you die, you are able to essentially ascend as a phoenix, cheat death, and devastate all nearby foes. And I'm not sure if you guys watched the League's hint video, but Jad goes from over half health from when he got killed to dead. I'm not sure if this becomes an instant kill for whatever you're in front of, but that's a gigantic chunk of health to just knock out in one shot. I would love to see how overpowered this might actually be. They showed somebody getting the Jad cape with this, but oh my gosh, would this so be helpful in the Inferno. And the last of our hints that we've been given is going to be the Globetrotter Relic. I'm not sure if we have to choose between any of these overpowered relics like Globetrotter or Trickster, but the Globetrotter lets you teleport almost anywhere where there's already established teleports. If Last Recall is not in the game, this one is gonna be necessary for you to get around, because we're not wasting time this league, everybody. But as far as it goes, we've got the 3 combat relics, the Trickster, the Globetrotter, and Undying Retribution. If for some reason we have to pick between those 3, oh gosh, I might just have to go with Retribution just so I can maximize all my combat stats. But this is pure speculation. I doubt we're going to have to pick between these 3, and they don't even seem like they're in the same tier of things to unlock. But that's just my speculation. I could see Globetrotter and Trickster being in the same tier to be picked from, but I don't really see Undying Retribution being in the same tier to pick between those 2. So I feel like Undying Retribution might be a little farther ahead compared to Trickster and Globetrotter. And I said it somewhere in the middle, but I'll say it again, I really do think Magic is the MVP here. I ran out of breath just reading the amount of benefits that you get with the Magic. But so far, those are the hints that they've given us. We've got a lot more to come in the following days, and I'll be doing another video of about 5 or 6 more Leagues hints when they come out. But what were you guys able to put together from all of these hints that we've got so far? If you think I've missed anything, please leave it down below, and I will see you in the next video.